So, can you all see the screen?
Yes, I can, and I've done it a couple of times.
Okay. So, this is what I would like for you all to do while we're waiting for others to get on. We're going to relax. So, sit up straight as you can. Take a deep breath and hold it. And now let it go out slowly. You know, there's a lot going on. So if you listen to the music that's in the background, we want you to relax a little bit, rest your minds, rest your eyes, take deep, slow breaths, and then let them out slowly. Okay, we are gonna get started with our session. And of course, today we are talking about, first of all, as a reminder, and I am going to probably play this in the view that I have it today because I have people that are still trying to get on. And then that way I can see when they're trying to get in our session. Okay. So good afternoon. Of course, I am Della Hicks and welcome to Ready, Set, Go with the Expanded Food and Nutrition Education Program here in Pasco Tank Center in Elizabeth City. Okay. For those of you that may be new joining in with us today, if you'll put your contact information in the chat session, and I can actually get up with you to actually share with you what our classes are all about if you've never attended our sessions before. Also, at the bottom of our screen, as you see, these are recorded sessions, so you will be able to go back and enjoy them if you missed something. You can go back to my Facebook page, or you can do my county page, which is pascotank.ces.ncsu.edu, or my personal Facebook page as well. So if you type in Della Hicks and you see the young lady look like she's washing her hands, that's me. So as a refresher and a reminder, when it comes to our sessions, let's see, I got somebody else trying to get in. I'm sorry. This is set up a little different this time. So when it comes to our sessions, as a reminder, we're going to always talk about food safety, okay? So that's a given thing that we will cover during our sessions. And I am sorry, but let me see if I can find who's trying to get in, because they're not coming in the way that you all came in. Okay. Okay. We're going to get started again. Sorry about that. So when it comes to food safety, of course, you all have heard me say this several times in regards to our nutrition sessions. We want to always make sure we remember and practice our 4 rules of thumb, making sure that we do wash our hands thoroughly, and that's with nice, warm, soapy water, and remembering to make sure that you lather up those hands good and remember to get in the crevices of your hands as well as around any jewelry that you may be wearing. Also, remember to keep your meats separated from your fruits and vegetables. That's very important, and especially if you're chopping fruits and vegetables, making sure that you do make the proper food safety handlings for handling those raw meats. We do a lot of cross contamination, but we forget that we're actually doing that. When it comes to cross contamination, that could be handling raw meats and your fruits and vegetables with the same utensils or same cutting boards, or it could be even your serving dishes. Or if you're making your own sauce, if you're going to use some of your sauce to put on your meats when you're grilling or baking, you shouldn't use the same, I'll say maybe brush or spoon to dip in and pour over that raw meat. Pour some to the side and use for your meat once it's done, and then you can use that for a sauce. Also remember to use your meat thermometers. It's very, very important that you do have a meat thermometer. Making sure that your foods reach the proper temperatures. And just because something looks like it's done does not mean it's necessarily done. Make sure you pull the sleeve off and then insert that in the fattiest part of the meat and not near bone, because you're going to get an inaccurate reading. Also, making sure you do wash this off with nice soapy water. That's important. And then put your protective sleeve back on. Anything that should be refrigerated or on ice, making sure that you do keep those items nice and cold or refrigerated, not sitting in a bucket of water. Also, as a reminder from our session on Tuesday, we talked about getting our water in, as well as we also talked about the My Plate, talking about how important each food group was. So also with the My Plate, our recipe that went with it was a easy, quick pizza. And in that particular session, I did it with a tortilla. And I used some spaghetti sauce and my mozzarella cheese, and I chopped up some ham with that. So also getting your water in, as I said, is very important. Our serving size of water is 8 ounces. Most of us drink a 16-ounce bottle of water, so two of your servings is in that one bottle. And we need our water because this is what helps to control our body temperature. It also helps to carry our nutrients throughout our body. It aids with our breathing, and it protects our organs as well as our joints. So it's very important that we get our water in. And as I was saying earlier about the food groups, the My Plate replaced the My Pyramid. So with our food, each one of our food groups, they all do something different, and they're all very nutritious for our bodies. Okay. So when it comes to our session for today, we are actually talking about making smart breakfast choices. And so when it comes to our breakfast choices, how many of us actually include our family when it's time to do our breakfasts? How many people in your home actually get up and you actually prepare and sit down and eat breakfast with? Or how many people are just getting off from work when you're getting up to fix breakfast and get out? And do you and your family eat breakfast together? Or is it just you by yourself? So before our session is over, I'll get an opportunity for you all to ask some questions. So we're going to try to hold all our questions to the very end. So why do you think that is important that we actually get breakfast in? What are some reasons that you or your family may skip breakfast? Think about that in your head. It could be you're tired. It could be, you've worked all night. And of course, when your family is ready to eat, you're not ready to eat. It could be, I'm trying to lose weight. I don't think I need to eat a breakfast. I can do, good without having a breakfast. Or it could be you're in a rush trying to get out of the house, trying to do some ins and outs before your day gets going or before you get to work. So when it comes to making good habits or goals for you and your family, one of the most important goals that you can make is actually having breakfast. Breakfast is one of the most important meals of the day. And if you take that word breakfast and break it up, it's actually doing what it says. It's breaking a fast from the time you ate from your previous meal to the time that you're eating that particular meal. As I said earlier, breakfast may not be first thing in the morning. It could be in the evening, it could be in the afternoon, and it depends on your job or your situation in your household when breakfast time is for you and your family. Of course, you being the role model, that's going to be the first thing when it comes to the kids. They will normally like and see what they see us do. Making sure that you have breakfast foods on hand. And we're going to talk in a minute about what different food types can be breakfast foods. And of course, make it easy, not only on yourself, but as for your family as well. So always remember to make sure that you have a sanitation solution, as we talked about before. And of course, your simple, easy sanitation solution could be 2 cups of water and a 1/4 teaspoon of unscented bleach. So that's just your regular bleach in a spray bottle. As well as remembering with your dishes and your dishwater, not to necessarily stress over putting the bleach in your dishwater, but in your rinse water. And the reasoning for that is that 99.9 percentile that we're trying to keep. So you want to make sure that's in the rinse water and not in the dishwater because of the soaps that you'll use in your dishwater. So when it comes to talking about our breakfast, some key things want to remind you that just about anything could be a breakfast food item, okay? Remembering that you want something from each food group, because again, each group does something different for our bodies. So getting some grains, some protein, some dairy, your fruits, and your vegetables. You can do that in one dish or you can do it in several dishes. But again, remember your serving sizes, and we'll address those in a minute as well. This is our recipe for today, French toast, and it is a very, very delicious recipe, something simple, quick, and easy. And you're basically gonna pick and choose. Some people buy the egg beaters, some people use fresh eggs, some people use egg whites. So that's your choice of whether you want to use eggs. Then we have some people that have an allergy to eggs, so they can't use eggs. So in this particular recipe, we have our eggs, we have our milk, and we're using skim milk because, as we talked about last session, that we as adults need to be on 1% skim, almond, or some other type of milk other than whole and 2%. And the reason for that is our bodies as adults, we don't need the fat, we need the calcium. So the lower the percentile that's on the container, the higher the source of calcium you're going to get instead of fat. Also, we're using either cinnamon or nutmeg, you're using vanilla, and it works better with either day-old bread or a thicker bread because you're going to have to kind of dip your bread down into your mixture. And then you're just going to take it and flip it on each side. You're going to use your margarine and put in your skillet or on your griddle. And you're going to lay that up there and just let it simmer and cook for at least 30 seconds. And that's because we're using eggs in that. Also, you're making your own, basically, syrup, your fruit sauce. And we're using different types of berries. This particular recipe says you can use strawberries, or you can use a light syrup or a sugar-free syrup and a dash of cinnamon. So that will be good drizzled over top of that French toast. So when we got started, you all heard a little bit of music playing. And I chose to do this for our physical activity today because of all the stress we're going through with the corona virus that's spreading. So sometimes we need to just sit, we need to close our eyes, we need to listen to a little bit of relaxing music. So this is our physical activity. Again, so we're going to do some breathing. So remember, we're going to take in a deep breath. And then you're going to let it out slowly. And you can close your eyes while you do this. Another deep breath in. And then let it out slowly. And sometimes we just need to relax. We just need to sit back, relax your shoulders. I want you to take your head to the right side and tilt. And keep it there for a few seconds. Relax your shoulders. Bring your head back to the center. Take a deep breath in. Let it out. Then we're going to take our head to our left shoulder. Hold it there for a few seconds. Bring your head back up. Let's roll our shoulders. Go the opposite direction. Just slowly bend your head from one side to the other gently. You don't want to do it too fast. It may cause some dizziness. Okay. I hope that has helped you feel a little bit more at ease. So in talking about our breakfast choices, as you can see with our display, that there could be several things that can be a breakfast. When it's cold or even just when you're feeling a little down, you can always do some type of soup, whether it's a chicken soup, a potato soup, a broccoli soup, even such thing as a sweet potato soup. Also, you can do fruit with that. You can do some cottage cheese, and you can choose a different sauce for your bread with the English muffin or even a tortilla. And of course, pizza is a wonderful breakfast. Think about it. Most pizzas have all the food groups up there. You can have your sauce, your cheese, your meats, your fruits. You can do a lot of variety when it comes to pizza. One thing I do want to remind you of when it comes to food safety and our pizza about how fast germs multiply. So when you get that pizza, please do not set it in the oven. Please do not leave it on the counter. It needs to be refrigerated because remember, no food should be out more than 2 hours. And during the summers, I always say no longer than an hour and a half. Your foods need to be defrosted. When you're defrosting your foods in the refrigerator, in the bottom of the refrigerator with a plate and a napkin to catch those juices. You should not defrost your foods sitting on the counter or in a sink of water, and especially if you're heading out for work. Some ideas for quick breakfasts. Other than your norm, we normally have our pancakes, our eggs, our sausage. Think about rice pudding. That's something that's fulfilling, and it has most of all of our food groups in it as well. A breakfast burrito, hot cereals like your oatmeal or your grits or your farina or cream of wheat, pita sandwiches, or even your leftover dinners is another excellent idea when it comes to a quick breakfast idea. And as I said earlier, making sure you choose something from all the food groups. Remembering with our grains, we want to try to get as many whole grains that we can get in or whole wheats that we can get in a day's time, as well as choking hazards. We have to remember what are choking hazards for our kids. So even when it comes to our breakfast, remember what could be a choking hazard. These are the normal choking hazards that we have listed here. Our nuts, popcorn, unpeeled fruits or vegetables, hard candy, hot dogs, raw carrots, and grapes. Those are items that can be choking hazards for kids. Even some potato chips because the way they are designed. Remember also that when you get a lot of fatty foods in, then if you're not getting enough physical activity, then that's going to be an issue because then your body is not burning off the energy that it needs. So therefore, it's storing your fat and then you're gaining weight. So try not to eat extra large portions. Remember with our serving sizes, as well as the palm of your hand, that's your serving of meat, about 3 ounces, about the size of a deck of cards. Our fatty foods, be careful of those, our sugary foods, as well as our sugary drinks. Also, as a reminder, foods you would want to eat, making sure that they get important vitamins and minerals. And these are things that we need, especially this time, that's going to strengthen our immune system. These foods contain vitamin A, C, and D, as well as zinc, omega-3 fatty acids, which are those types of wonderful fish like salmon, mackerel, and even sardines are good for that. And also you're going to get some antioxidants. So you're going to find those in your beans, your berries, your broccoli, your eggs. Of course, I said fatty foods, ginger, and that's, you get more in fresh ginger, Greek yogurt, honey, your leafy green vegetables, lean meats, oats, oranges, pumpkin seeds, sweet potatoes, and your whole grain foods. Again, want to remind you about our recipe for today. It's French toast. And with your fruit sauce, you can switch your fruit up. I've done it with fresh peaches. I've done it with strawberries, blueberries, mango. Switch it up, be adventuresome. So I am going to open up the mic right now. If you have questions in regards to our choices when it comes to breakfast, then this is the time that you can unmute your mic and ask some questions. Okay, remember what our, go ahead.
I got a question.
Yes.
I just cooked up a turkey, and it was a small turkey, and I later chopped up the carcass and threw it in water to make a soup base.
Okay,
But you've said time and time again, get that stuff in the fridge, get that stuff in the fridge.
that's right, Mr.
Well,
Taylor.
but how long? I mean, this stuff was incredibly hot, and I hadn't even, cooled. You have to cool it off to even take the bones out after you've boiled the bones for an hour.
That's true.
So it stayed hot forever. I mean, 2
Okay.
hours later, it was still too hot to
No,
touch.
no, Mr. Terry. Remember my germs and bacteria?
Yeah.
So what we say is take those and break it down and put it in shallow containers so that it will cool quicker. And even with your meat and your carcasses, take those and put it in a separate container from your broth that you had it in, because your broth is going to stay hot. And as long as your broth is hot, the bones is going to maintain that heat. So
Mm-hmm.
if you separate those, put it in shallow containers, put it towards the bottom of your refrigerator,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't want it near your meats or anything. But remember how quickly germs and bacteria multiply.
Right.
You don't want to keep that out longer than, I would say, 20 minutes. That's the most. Put it in the
Okay.
bottom of your refrigerator. And
After you've turned off the boiling, yeah.
yes,
So 20 minutes or so.
yes,
That's as long as you want to be leaving it out.
yes, sir.
I don't have that many shallow containers. Yeah, I made a couple of quarts of broth easily.
Okay. Well, with that, you can take a cookie sheet. You can take a 13x9 baking pan. You can put a little
Mm.
bit of ice, take a tray, put ice in the bottom of the tray, then set your meat into the shallow pan and then refrigerate it. And it'll cool down much quicker that way.
Well, the carcass, it was just bones. I could have thrown that away if I could have reached in, but it was still too hot to even get out. And I forgot to bring the tongs from the other house. I just moved.
Okay. Okay.
So, but I'll get tongs for later next time I have this situation.
And,
What I ended up doing is just taking the whole pot and making room on the shelf and throwing it in there. But, it kept my refrigerator running like mad for the next couple of hours as it warmed everything else up in the fridge.
okay, so now you know, Mr. Terry, to take it out of the pot, because that pot is going to hold the heat.
Yeah, I
So
sure do
take
know.
it out of the pot. Take
Okay.
your meats as well as the carcass and separate that from the liquid.
Got it.
But
And now I
that's
can chuck the carcass. It's already been done,
okay.
I suppose. But the main thing is to get it in these shallow things that I can put on the bottom drawer
Yeah,
above the produce drawer.
that's right.
Okay.
Very good question.
Okay.
And thank you for joining in.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Thank you. Any other questions? If not, our next session should be on Tuesday. And I will make sure that I send out the link. And that's why I asked for anyone that I would not have your contact information, if you would put it in the chat box. And that way I can get it and include you when I send out my link for Zoom. If there's something that you may have joined in late, this will be posted to my Facebook page, as well as the Pasco County Extension page. So you'll be able to go back and view that at that time. I thank you all for joining in. And if there's no more questions, be safe and have a wonderful afternoon. And make sure you start getting that breakfast in, because that's important.
Thanks, Della.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Della.
You're welcome, Wanda. Thank you for joining in from Texas.
Thanks, Stella.
You're welcome, Nellie. Have a good day and be safe.
Thanks, Stella.
You're welcome. Thank you as well, Barbara.
And Yvonne was with me. Remember that, okay?
Yvonne, thank you as well, Yvonne.
Thank you. Be safe.
Thank you. You all too. Bye-bye.
Take care, Della. I'll be in touch.
Facebook to get up with her and see what you did today.